What's up, guys? Welcome back to another training video. I am Kenya and I'm so excited right now because my house is quiet. That is every mother's dream, especially when you're shooting a YouTube video. And today I am going to be sharing with you guys about taking the leap and giving you 6 basic rules for investing, things that have helped us in our investing journey, because I have so many people around me right now that are saying, what are you guys doing? How are you doing it? And I've always been an open book, but it's so funny that even when we share what we're doing, there are so many people who I see don't take action. And I understand why, but it's time to turn that around. So if you are feeling stuck, if you have been wanting to take the leap, maybe you've been following us for some time and it's just still not clicking for you. You're trying to really own your life, create your life, and you just don't know where to start, then I'm going to give you some tips, okay? So if you are not subscribed, make sure that you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications so that you don't miss our future content. Also connect with us on Instagram and in Telegram. All that information is in the link of this video. So I remember growing up really young and always seeing my mother just really successful at being her own boss, owning multiple businesses. And I didn't really understand it when I was young, but I used to see my mom and I used to say, I'm gonna be just like her. I'm gonna be just like her. And I didn't get the opportunity to really sit down at the dinner table and learn how to invest in the stock market or in the currency market, or I didn't learn a lot about corporations or running your own business. I saw it, but I wasn't taught that at the dinner table, okay? Like some privileged kids, I would say, if you are privileged enough to have that. And so I learned a lot on my own. And what I realized very young, you guys, is that I did not want to be an employee. I was a good employee, but I realized that I didn't want to be an employee. I wanted to own my life and I wanted to own my own corporation, my own business, because I saw the benefits of that. And there was a time where I was working for an employer and I was working really hard. I remember my first job out of college was in professional sports. And while it was amazing, I had put forth a lot of hard work. And I remember coming out of college, I was making $38,000 and I was like, I am rich. This is awesome. But as I continued to work harder and I was working so many hours, I would get my check and I would literally feel like, you know what, this is peanuts. Like seriously, I was paying so much money toward taxes. And basically I noticed that I was working really hard, but I was not being able to acquire assets. I basically had money going out, but I didn't have anything outside of my paycheck coming in. And of course, you know, in your early 20s or so, you're not really maybe thinking about all of that, but that is the problem. We need to be thinking about that. And our education system doesn't prepare us for that. So one of the best things that I did, especially once I started really acquiring my own business and I got started in real estate and became a real estate investor, one of the things that I did was invested in financial education. That is the first principle that I would tell anyone, is to invest in financial education. People come to me and they are always saying, where should I start? They ask Brian, where should I start? I see what you guys are doing. Oh my gosh, your life looks so amazing. You're owning your own time. You're homeschooling your kids. And let me just tell you that that didn't happen overnight. I think a lot of people forget where we've come from, which everyone has a story. And if you've followed us for some time, you've seen our track record. You've learned about me before I got married, about Brian, and then after we got married, and how we've worked really hard to build the life that we wanted. And the very first thing that we both had to do was we had to invest in our financial IQ, because we knew that as we acquired more money, we had to have more knowledge and experience, which would then also offer us wisdom in making smart, wise financial decisions. Because if you don't have that, you can have money come in, but oh my gosh, do you know that money will leave just as fast as you got it if you don't have the knowledge of how to keep it and grow it? So if you are not investing in financial education, that is where you need to start. If you want to invest in whatever it may be, whether it's currencies or stocks or real estate, whatever it may be, you need to go and get the proper education, or else you're pretty much doomed for failure because you don't know what you're doing. You can try and learn it on your own if you want to, but there is a benefit in investing in someone else's knowledge who's already been through a lot of the mistakes that you're probably going to make. The second thing that I really encourage you to do is learn the difference between assets and liabilities. So important, okay? Very, very simple. Assets put money in our pocket, liabilities take money out of our pocket. So one of the things that we focus on so much is acquiring and building our asset column. So adding things to our asset column, which then turns into income. So a lot of people might look at what we do and they think that the only thing that we have is trading. That's what we make our money from. And honestly, that it's not. We have multiple streams of income, and trading is just one of them. So you have to decide what type of income do you want to earn, which I'm going to get to the types of income, but spend your time on creating assets and limiting your liabilities. I have so many friends, which I've had to create my distance from because of the mindset. You have to be careful of the type of company that you have around you, but I don't like to just spend my money foolishly. I just don't do that. That's just not something that I do. I have a goal with my money. I I have everything that's allocated, my husband and that's just how we are. And that's how we're able to maintain our freedom. But if we didn't have that, and if we just spent foolishly, we wouldn't be able to do that. We'd be working jobs and working for someone else. So I'm very cautious in who I spend my time with, who I allow access to me, and you have to do the same thing as well. But you want to focus on building assets, okay? How do you determine which assets those are? That's where you have to become educated. You got to put yourself around the right people, and then you have to decide. You have to know the difference between assets and liabilities. If it takes money away from you and doesn't bring money to you, then you know that that is a liability. Now you can turn a liability into an asset, and you have to figure out how to do that. So I'm always looking and just doing my best to try to acquire more assets in order to maintain my time freedom and continue growing my income. The third thing that I would say is very, very important is that you have to really shift your mindset. So when you start investing, it's really difficult at first because if this is something you haven't been trained to do, then you're going to probably result to being an employee and taking a job and feeling like, you know what, this is just too difficult, when you really want out. You want your freedom. You want out of the rat race. And if you want to keep your job and mind your business, you can do that too. But you really have to work on shifting your mindset, and you also have to train yourself to see what other people miss with their own eyes. So when it comes to investing, what some people see as risky, you might see otherwise as an opportunity. And that is how investors see things. That is how wealthy people see things. I remember when I first started investing in real estate, and I had a friend who told me I was going to make an offer on a property, and I had a friend who told me the property was like $285,000 at the time in California. Those were the good old days. And so my friend told me, you know, I wouldn't insult them like that. I would offer their asking price. And I said, oh my gosh, you shouldn't be an investor. And not to insult anyone, but there was a strategy to that. Okay. So I knew that in order to get a creative deal as an investor, investors don't pay market prices. We look for opportunities so that we can make money off of that investment. And so when I am looking and analyzing a deal, I am not thinking about paying full price or the market price of what something is. You have to train yourself to do the same thing. And you also, like I said, have to see what other people miss. I am always telling myself that there is a deal. When I trade in the Forex market, I'm always telling myself there is a deal, there's an opportunity coming at the price that I want to pay, and I'm going to wait until it gets there. And that's the same thing. Any type of investment, you have to train your mind to see it that way. Instead of telling yourself, I can't afford it, you have to tell yourself, how can I afford it? And then you get to work at training your brain to come up with options of how you can afford it. And then you move yourself from being unstuck to actually getting some type of outcome, desired outcome that you want, okay? So you want to be able to shift your mindset. You also want to start to know the differences between the types of income and know what type of income you want. So there's three types of income. There's earned income, where you earn income on a job. There's portfolio income, where let's say you flip real estate and you make the proceeds from that flip. That money goes maybe back into part of your reinvestment portfolio, whatever it is. And then you also have your passive income column. With your passive income, you have money that is working for you where you don't necessarily have to be there. And so I love passive income. I like having income that is generating while I sleep or while I'm traveling with my family, whether it be any type of stocks that I invest in or the currency market or our academy or digital sales, all those different types of things. So you have to decide what type of income do you want, and then you focus on what are the problems around you? So I've trained myself to see problems and to come up with solutions. So for example, I used to work for a company. I worked for a trading company, and there were so many opportunities in that company, but I also saw a lot of problems. And so those problems were turned into opportunities. For example, I saw a lot of gaps in traders' experience. They were paying all this money to learn, but there were a lot of gaps, and they were leaving the program and still feeling stuck, still feeling like they didn't know what else to do next in order to become successful. Well, we found a way to fill those gaps, and people were coming to us for the solution. And at the time, we didn't have it, but then we created the solution. We created a solution to someone's problem. What did that do? That increased our income or our assets. So that is what I mean by decide what type of income you want and then work on building that out. Okay. The next thing, fifth thing, is that you want to learn taxes and also the power of corporations. And this is really, really important. I learned this from one of my mentors who told me you have got to learn how taxes work in America, and you have to learn how it works to your benefit. Now, I know we talk about rich people very cruel, and we're always saying they need to pay taxes. I know we talk about a lot of our politicians, and yeah, everyone should pay their fair share of taxes. But if you study the history of taxes and what it was meant for in the first place and just how it has been abused so much, then you would understand why the rich really pay no taxes. And they are provided incentives in order to create jobs, in order to have their own businesses. There's loopholes. I'm sorry to say there's loopholes in taxes. And as an employee, you are taxed the most. You don't get to invest anything. Even when you're investing in your 401k, you think that that's your investment. That's not the best investment that you want. Okay. There's so much to learn. You should also learn how your 401k is being invested. Some people don't even know that. So this is why you want to invest in financial education, and you want to start being able to control your own income in some areas of your portfolio management. So the last investment principle is pay yourself. Get in the habit of paying yourself first. I always tell our traders, when you are saving up for your live account, make sure that every month or however often it is, get into the habit of saving money automatically toward your investment account. I don't care if it takes you, a year or two to save up $10,000, whatever it may be. Get in the habit of paying yourself first, because you don't want to work so hard on a job where you let them take taxes from you, and then you pay your bills, and then you go spend, and then you have little or no money left to invest or to pay yourself. So in order for you to escape the rat race, you have to work on paying yourself first, right? So those are just a few principles that I wanted to share. I like to be able to share from personal experience exactly how are we able to do what we do, in hopes that someone will be able to duplicate our success and avoid some of the mistakes that we made. And some people just need the encouragement. So I'm here to tell you that you can do it. You can take the leap. You can start your own business. You can be a successful investor and trader, or whatever type of investor you want to be. You just have to take the steps, get around the right people, put forth the action, and make it happen. I hope that you found this helpful. Don't forget to smash that like button, and I'll see you in the next training.